I'm going to go over a few tools in this video to hopefully help you make a better page layout. I'm going to go over the type tool, creating a text wrap, and using the grid and the rulers to line everything up. So starting with the text tool, or the type tool, excuse me, you can click on the type tool. Shortcut key to the type tool is T, and click once, let go, and start typing away as you wish. I'm going to hit escape and delete to delete that though. I'm going to go back to my type tool, and I'm actually going to click and drag to create a bounding box for my type. I'm going to line that up a little bit better later on as I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paste the type I have copied from a word processing program. You can type away, like I say, as you wish here as well. If you do type, I would recommend going to edit, check spelling. There is no check grammar function in Illustrator, so that's why I usually use a word processing program. Now I'm going to create a text wrap. I'm just going to go to the selection tool and kind of move my type over a little bit, and because that's a separate piece, separate element. Now I'm going to go to the different pieces I have drawn and create text wraps for them. So first I'm going to select this rectangular path I have right here. Everything, by the way, I have is on one layer, just to simplify things. You might have different layers. You will need to bring each item, each illustration that you have that you want the text to wrap around above the illustration. So what I'm going to do first is above the type, excuse me. I'm going to bring this illustration above my type by choosing Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So now it's in front of my type. I can't read my type though. So this is where a text wrap comes in handy. I'm going to go to the selection tool and select my object once again and choose Object, Text Wrap, Make. That makes a text wrap around my object. I can do the same with my bottom illustration, Object, Text Wrap, Make. Now it made a text wrap around that object, but because that object's behind my text, it's not functioning. So you need to bring that object to the front, so Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and it dominates your text. It overpowers your text. I'm going to do the same with my circle, Object, Text Wrap, Make. You also have text wrap options. I'm going to come back to that. So it made that object have a text wrap, and I'm going to bring it to the front so everything works. So now everything lines up pretty well so far. I do have some elements where the type is kind of skipping out, especially in this bottom right corner. It's kind of going off the screen. I can move my whole all my type up, and let me bring up my words. So you have these three words that kind of stick out right there. I'm going to address those in a second. Before I do that though, you want to check your spacing around each element. Make sure it's evenly spaced, and it looks like it pretty much is. I want to bring in the text a little closer to that circle though. So I'm going to go Object, Text Wrap Options with that circle selected. And I'm going to bring that offset down. You can check the preview to give you an idea of what that's going to look like. And so I'd say 16 points is going to match up a little bit better with the text wrap around my rectangle. And actually I want to bring that one in a little bit as well. So Object, Text Wrap Options with the rectangle selected. I'm going to bring that to about 16 as well. So you can change them all, mash them all up as you see fit. Now, I have a couple of issues here. Text out to the right here, text out to the right here. There's a little trick you can try to fix that. InDesign has a trick where you can actually move the text wrap with the direct selection tool. Illustrator does not. So I'm going to create another little rectangle here. You can make that a rectangle, you make that a circle, whatever you want to make it. I'm actually going to extend that up so it takes care of two things at once. And I'm actually going to make that rectangle invisible. So I'm going to have it have no fill and no stroke. So no fill, no stroke right here. So now I just have an invisible rectangle. I'm going to choose Object, Text Wrap, Make with that object as well, and it eliminates that text. It moves that text down. I'm just going to bring that whole box down. So it gets rid of the text, but you don't really see it. You don't even know it's there, but it is working, and everything should line up pretty closely right there, so you can kind of see it. So everything's going pretty good. Everything's lined up pretty good. Now I'm going to use my grid to line everything up. So if you don't see the grid already, that's fine. You just go to View, Show Grid. You also want to probably see your rulers. So View, Rulers, Show Rulers, or Command R will show your rulers. Now if your rulers are showing picas or points or centimeters and don't want to see that, or if you do, that's fine. But if you right click or control click on a Mac on your ruler itself, the top part of the ruler, you can right click on the side ruler as well. You can change that to whatever unit you want to use. So I've got inches. My grid is on inches. The darker lines are signifying 1 inch. The lighter, smaller lines are 1/8 of an inch. You can also change these under Illustrator, Preferences, Guides, and Grid. You can change these to be tenths of an inch or whatever you want right there. You can also change your guides and guides as well. So guides are nice to use as well. Right now I'm just going to use the grid to start with. So under the view menu, I'm also going to check snap to grid. This just helps me line everything up. So I'm going to snap this to have 1, 2, 3, 4 by 4 on the top and side. So that gives me a 1/2 inch border on the top and a 1/2 inch border on the side. I'm going to do the same with my type, and it's lined up perfectly already. Actually, I think I had snap on when I started. Now I'm going to do the right. I'm going to line that up to be at the halfway mark, and everything lines up pretty nicely. Snap works pretty well in Illustrator to do that. I'm also going to move my circle over to match it up. Now when you get to a certain point, it might be easier to use guides. If you click on the right guide and drag to the right, or excuse me, if you click on the left guide and drag to the right, it will allow you to drag a guide to the right or to the left. So I'm going to choose View, Hide, Grid to show you what this looks like. If you go to the top, it will allow you to drag a guide down to the top of the page or to the bottom of the page, like so. So I'm going to use guides to finish this up. You can use either guides or grids, or you can use both. So what I want this bottom element, I want it to line up to a 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, just like everything else. I don't want that break in my sentence. That's really, really bad because I can't read my sentence. So I'm going to adjust that in just a little bit. I'm going to move the circle over as well. So everything kind of lines up, has a even border around the edges. I want an even border within the objects as well. So that's really important for my design. Now it looks like that's giving me a problem. I'm going to go do the rectangle trick. Draw a rectangle right here. Doesn't need to be a real big one. I'm going to choose none, none for my rectangle here. Object, text wrap, make, and that will eliminate that text right there. Now the last step in doing this layout, and actually I should have chosen my font first. I'm going to select my type here. I'm going to hit Command A or Control A on a PC to select all my type and go to my character panel, window character will show your character panel. You want to have a character or a font that fits your design. So what kind of a design are you creating here? You want it to be legible, you want it to be understandable. You can use up to 3 fonts per page. So if you want to use a fancy font, something like a script, I wouldn't recommend using that for a whole block of text where you're going to be reading that whole thing, but you could use it for a headline. You could use it for the headline, subheading, whatever you want there. I'm just going to choose a kind of a accepted Helvetica, nice, easy to read font. Okay, so there you go. And for the headline, let's just say this first sentence is the headline. I can choose another one, maybe a script font, and you can adjust the size here. You can adjust the leading right here, spacing, the tracking, and so forth. I like to have different size fonts signifying my headline, my subheading, blurbs, pull quotes, and so on. So you can play around with that. I'd recommend having different size fonts in your design to give your design some sort of hierarchy to show what's the most important thing, what's the second most important thing, and so on in your design. So I look forward to seeing your work if you choose to show it to me soon.